Good morning, Nigeria. A fresh week unfolds, and so does another vibrant edition of Daybreak Live Edition, right here on Dominion Television. My name is Anolo Akpoido, your lead host this morning, ready to walk you through the stories shaping conversations across the nation.
Right, and I'm Samson Balogo. Whether you are tuning in from home, on your commute, or already at your desk, we are glad to have you with us this morning. As always, we are here to bring clarity, depth, and meaningful insights to the headlines that matter.
Absolutely. We begin this morning with Daybreak Gist, where our focus shifts to Kebbi State, following the distressing abduction of 25 schoolgirls. President Bola Tinubu has ordered an immediate rescue operation, and the nation is once again confronted with urgent realities of school security, intelligence gaps, and the vulnerabilities faced by children in conflict-prone regions. We examine what this narrative and this directive means, the expected government response, and the broader implications for national security strategy.
That's actually right. This comes at a time when Nigeria is really sitting on the edge when it comes to security. Yeah. And right after that, stay with us for weather updates and Daybreak News, a crisp roundup of Nigeria's top stories and global highlights to kickstart your day.
Then we head into the newspaper review, joined by seasoned public affairs analyst and aviation instructor Oluwole Oluwaseun, who will help us break down the headlines and uncover the layers behind today's major stories.
And of course, still to come is our big story for today, and it's titled Unsettled Ground. The moves, counter moves, and calculations after critical political reset. Nigeria's political atmosphere is shifting. Quietly, anyway, strategically, if you want to put it that way, and decisively. We'll explore the reactions, recalibrations, and silent tensions reverberating across power circles.
To help us navigate these unfolding dynamics, we'll be joined by Honorable Omola Jolaoye, APC stalwart and seasoned public affairs analyst. He'll walk us through the subtle chess moves underway and what they suggest for Nigeria's political direction.
All right, and before we wrap up the show this morning, we'll do that with Trend Watch, brings you the top stories, reactions, and viral moments dominating online.
So wherever you are this morning, stay with us. This is Daybreak Live, your trusted companion for news, analysis, and perspective.
That's actually right, and we shall get started right away.
Absolutely. Good morning to you.
Good to have you on the show, Anu.
It's my pleasure being here
today.
Glad
to have you back.
I mean, 18th of November. The year is running. So some people are very happy for December already.
Well, I could, yesterday while I was heading home, I saw a few things that actually made me remember the good old days. While we were very young, you know, Father Christmas was always something we would always want to see. And I saw Father Christmas right here at Dominion Television. And I was really, really glad that we are really about to do this. And
of course.
It's really going to be interesting anyway. Maybe myself, I'll buy a ticket. And,
you should get one.
And come sit on his lap and see what exactly it feels like after so many years.
I hope he doesn't get a leg pain after you say.
Maybe they'll find me a seat beside him.
For funny how I think I like our Father Christmas. Our Father Christmas can dance. So if you have not bought your ticket, of course, we are selling this. In fact, you need to get it.
It's not like he dances anyway. He's a stepper.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's better. Because I saw the way he was doing the move. You can check on our Facebook, YouTube channels. You see our videos, of course, for the Father Christmas, where he was making some, I don't want to call it mad moves, but very good moves,
important moves. Yeah. Okay, that away from there this morning, there's really something pressing to discuss, and that's about what happened yesterday. 25 schoolgirls were kidnapped. And that brings us back to old memories. You could remember the Chibok girls during the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Until today, I don't think all of them were gotten back from Boko Haram at the time. And ISWAP, you know, I knew, I somehow knew it was going to get this to this stage, because when there was a particular story talking about how ISWAP and Boko Haram were fighting for territories. I think that was last week.
Yes.
You know, ISWAP was getting the better of Boko Haram because it was their territory. It was just Boko Haram that went there to say, look, we want to take over this territory. And the scores were up to 200 or thereabout. And, you know, if they had so much nerve, if they could do that kind of gut, it's the gut for me to fight for territory in a country that has a president, in a country that has National Assembly, in the country that has military might, and then nobody has said anything really important about, oh, did the military move in to swoop in, you know, as early as possible to make sure that they were all found in that particular location and then neutralized all at the same time. But then it has gotten to this stage where we are now having a repeat of what happened in the past. 25 of them. I mean, well, the figure is way less than what we had during the era of Chibok girls. I think they went with a truck and then they loaded schoolgirls into that vehicle and took them away. But this time around, 25, and the president has ordered, you know, immediate action. You must get them back as soon as possible. So who's gathering intel? Where are we at this present time? As at this morning, what exactly have we done that we can say is a little bit of success going forward into how we can actually get these schoolgirls back? I think this is what we should be looking at this time.
Exactly, because KB, for one, it's you know, let's just say generally, this issue is becoming one dime a dozen, one too many. Every time we see this kind of thing, it reminds us of how frail, how porous, how impotent, if so to say, for lack of a better word, our security architecture is. Because if you say this happened one time and then it's happening again, there's a Yoruba saying that, you know, the rain does not beat you into the same house 2 times or 3 times.
Maybe
I don't know.
once bitten, twice shy.
I think that's better. That's better put. You know, so if we have this recurrent issue of abduction of schoolgirls, then what are we doing around our schools, especially in certain places in the north and maybe some part of the southeast as well? What are we doing to ensure that these children are protected? Not just now. What we do is we're trying to do, you know, what's it called?
We are just reacting to what
Reaction, yeah. There could be prevention instead of now trying to tackle the issue. You could have created a barricade, a system that would check out these kind of possibilities instead of now saying, oh, the president is ordering immediate action, immediate security before. It could have been beefed up before this issue beefed itself up, if so to say. So I'm saying that we should be holistic in our approach to this. Instead of just tackling it when it happens, why not ensure it does not happen? But away from that too, the president gave a stern directive to say, guys, let's sweep into action. I think I love that. Why? I love it when the body language of the presidency is saying no to banditry, no to abduction, no to kidnapping, no to insecurity, no to insurgency. I love it when we have a government that does not even want to care who sucks God is going to go straight into the place and get everything done. Because this is the same thing, you know, when we talk about Christian genocide, about the United States saying all of this, a lot of people were questioning the fact that there's no problem with, you know, trying to offer help, but it was the approach that the US government was trying to use. And some have also acclaimed that it was until that proclamation that we started seeing a lot of beef up around some areas. When we saw the National Security Advisor, Nuri Badu, coming out to say, after, I think a week after, was saying that we are doing this, we are doing it. Yes, you are doing it. Let's see more. That's what we don't even want to even have it told that, oh yeah, they did this or they're doing this. We want to see the effect of this. Now, 25 schoolgirls again in abduction. And this is the problem. This is the problem. I don't like it when, because remember, we mentioned something quite interesting and very important, that some of those girls were not even recovered, right? So what happened to them? Some of them became mothers of terrorists because they were going to give birth. And those children are going to be used for infant Absolutely. Infant military, infant what terrorists or whatever they call them. Yeah, they're going to use those children because I think it's over a decade now, right? So if we have that, it means that I was asking myself one time, how do they get to increase in numbers? Because we know the military, the Nigerian military is fighting them and they are killing them. There's no way they will fight and not kill some of them. But how are they still plenty? It's because one, they have a strategy to also multiply, to procreate. So one of the ways they do that is they get hostages like these schoolgirls. They impregnate them, they make them have babies, and then they raise those kids to be, because those ones are raised in that territory where their brain has been, clogged up with a lot of.
You see, when
so they are
one
ready
is
to
born in
fight
that
too.
place, nobody needs to tell you anything. You
Your mind is
automatically-
already set to be a fighter, and a fighter for the wrong reasons. But this is also an aspect we should look into. When we have this kind of issue, one of the things we should see, but I think one of the strengths that these people are using is because when they have a hostage situation, what they're trying to do is that the military cannot just run into them and kill everybody because they know they have
They
citizens
sometimes use
there.
hostages as shields.
Exactly, as shield. So instead of that too, I'm looking at a way we can ensure that first, our school security system is very paramount. Because if the lives of these children, these pupils are actually important to the government, there should be a security beef up around the schools. One. Two, a strong reaction, a stern reaction, a stern, directive, a stern order to say the body language of the government would not allow for this to go on. We are ready to fight to and nail. We're ready to fight anywhere and everywhere. We're ready to go dirty with you guys if you want that to happen. So I think the body language also should be something we should look, to talk about. And again, too, maybe we should start looking for how this. I don't know if the GPS system in some places is still questionable, how we can use technology to fight these things. Instead of just saying we are going there, there can be intelligence gathering, there can be data, there can be, area view drones and all of those things that can help us see what exactly is happening. As you can see, we need to put those structures in place. Technology is something we should also. So I'm saying three things. First off, ensure security beef up in schools. Two, let the body language of the government be strong enough. And the third point, technology. Use drones, use helicopter, use whatever you can. These girls must be brought back.
You see, it's actually really sad that we're having to discuss this on a Tuesday morning, but unfortunately, this is what is on the pages of the newspaper this morning. Almost all the papers have this particular story, especially the major ones. It's actually really sad, and this brings to question what the northern elders, the northern leaders and stakeholders are doing. I mean, we have Northern Elders Forum, Stakeholders Forum, and
Community
we have
leaders.
the Arewa Consultative Forum. What exactly are they doing to make sure that these acts of banditry, insurgency is brought to an end in the north? And you see, there is this particular system practiced in the north. They have a leader, and they all believe and trust in that leader. So they rank that leader, they are always close to him. So if that is the system you practice, that means that for every leader, you can indoctrinate your people to think the right way, to do the right thing. I mean, yes, you can be a fighter, fight for the right cause, not the wrong cause. For example, those who have been kidnapped in the north right now, if we are to judge by percentage, I don't think you are going to have more than 2-3 Igbo girls among them. I don't think you are going to have more than 1 or 2 Yoruba boys girls among them. I'm just trying to say that they are basically northern girls. They are basically girls from Kebbi State. So what exactly are the elders in those places? What are they doing? I mean, I'm not saying an Atiku Abubakar should go to the war front and then start fighting Boko Haram. No. But what I'm saying is condemn this act in all totality. I mean, there should be no reason for you to select whatever it is you want to talk about just because it is politics. Some people don't really talk about these things because they think, oh, by the time I want to contest for the next election, these people, they are in their numbers. I might just lose that figure. And that, for me, is playing politics with lives and properties of the northern people. Yes, I'm not saying that we don't have, our fair share of insecurity in other parts of the country, to be the south-south, the southeast, the southwest, even north-central. But the fact remains that when you talk about, especially the northeast, there is serious crisis there. And you begin to wonder, do they have a sitting governor there? Yes, they all have governors. Do they have members of House of Assembly? Yes, they have members of House of Assembly. They have local government chairmen and they have councillors. And this is really disheartening that you even see local government chairmen taking pictures with bandits. I mean, they're going to tell you bandits are coming to visit the local government. They even have meetings with them. Sheikh Gumi does this a lot of times, and nobody in the north has condemned Sheikh Gumi for this dastardly act, because it is really disheartening. You have to bring these people to justice. Bring Sheikh Gumi, arrest him, and ask him questions. At least, even it's not really about arrest, ask him questions. Just invite him. He will come and tell you whatever it is he knows about these people. And I saw a particular publication where he said they are our warriors in the bush, and they are kidnapping your people. They are taking money from them. They are getting a ransom from them. Kidnap and ransom has become the order of the day in some parts of the north. And it happens in other parts too, but it is way too much in those places. And you really cannot blame Donald Trump for making such statement. I mean, you might want to say, oh, it was reckless at that time. But hey, with what we are saying now, what we have seen in the past, and what we are currently seeing, look at the bombings in Yaya and some other places in the past administration too. So it is not limited to Tinubu administration. We have had our fair share of insecurity from all administrations since 1999, even under President Olusegun Obasanjo at that time, down to Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who at that time was having issues with men in the South, emancipation of the people of the Niger Delta. I think that was it at that time. And then after that, we had to move to the era of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, down to President Muhammadu Buhari, and now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have had serious security crises during those periods. You might want to sweep all that under the carpet because they are now in the past. But hey, they are the lead up to what we are currently having now. It was a process. It did not start just today. It started a long time ago. And if someone does not put this where it needs to be, which is in the past, then we are going to have more security crises. These people are gaining territories day by day. They are moving closer and closer to the south. We have had issues where people at Okeode in Kwara State were being killed and massacred on their own farmland. Some of them had to leave their houses and then move to the city center. So when you were talking about schools, something really came to my mind, and like, okay, what are the things we can do? Majority of the schools in the city centers, they really they are not too prone to attacks like that. How about schools in bushes, schools in villages? These are people we should empower. These are people we should tighten our security. I mean, you can engage the service of special squad within the NSCDC to make sure that they put all these places under tight and lock and key sometimes when it is necessary. And when they have to guard these students, they should do it. I mean, these are trying times for Nigeria, but then what can we do to stop this? Is to make sure that we are proactive and not reactive. We cannot keep running in the bushes and looking for guests that have been kidnapped, but we can stop them from being kidnapped.
I agree with you totally, because you've taken a lot of words out of my mouth. In fact, many points you've alluded to, and I think they are a very strong point that we should
look at. Yesterday, it wasn't that good it wasn't good at all for the vice principal Azan Makoku, who was killed. The security guard Alishewu was shot, and he had to sustain gunshot wounds, and is currently being treated. These are people who are northerners. If you check the names, they are not Yorubas, they are not Igbos, they are not from Nupe, they are not from other places in the country. They are from the north. So what can you do to stop them from killing your own people? That's why I'm calling the Northern Elders Forum. This is what you have to do now. There's a lot you have to do.
Because what you said is true. Because I remember, if there's something called community entrance. For every innovation, for every technology, or for everything you want to bring, in fact, there's technology transfer that you can bring, but everything you want to bring to a community, it has to pass through what we call community stakeholders. And like you've mentioned, the community elders, the leaders, the religious leaders, and some of the community ballets and all of that, especially in the Southwest, that they have there, the Obas and all of those that they have, should also be engaged. Why? How? When you want to bring a bus to carry students, who saw you? Should someone not see you? Okay, let's say not someone. Are there security barricades? Are there checkpoints? Are there not checkpoints? We should have these things. Okay, so if there are checkpoints, we saw some people, we ran away, we could not, they overpowered us and all that. But where do you think they went with the children? So, because I don't like it when we play the game of, we don't know where the bandits or the kidnappers are in this country, at this age and time. We don't know where these people are. You say you're looking for their hideout. You're trying to. You should know their hideout now. I mean, even so, if they are taking 25 children out of the school, how did they get successfully to get to the school?
These are not cartons of biscuits.
And it's not even a pin. It's not Dominion.
They are not gallons of water.
That you just take away. I mean, these are very. It's very. Sometimes you wonder, why do we even have this in the story? But this is the story. This is the situation to find ourselves because we keep seeing these kind of things. How can someone come into a school, get the children? And I want to speak to the psychology of the people in the north, especially now to the children who have been abducted. What do you think would be the end of this? I'm not saying the end, but what will be the outcome of this? What will be the aftermath? Even if they are rescued, these guys will get to witness something bad. And there's something it does to your psychological,
Right.
you know, your psychological composure, your psychological mind. If you see an evil playing out again and again, if you see where they butcher someone, there's something it does to you.
That's
It numbs your compassion. It numbs your conscience. You will not be. They will, next time you see that, you're not just going to be, oh my God, you are going to be, oh, I've seen it before. So your mind is accustomed to that. So what happens in those kind of regions is that once these kind of things happen, those children would never be the best of themselves. And I'm not saying that this should hold them back and they say, okay, it was because someone was killed in my presence, it was because my brother or my sister was killed while we were in school. No, that's not the point. But I'm saying there's a psychological effect to this. And if we put all of this into consideration, we should know that this is not even supposed to happen in the first place because it does more bad than good. It does more evil to a community than good. These are the children that we call leaders of tomorrow. These are going to become, so the narrative for them is going to be, I was kidnapped when I was young. So if someone gets kidnapped, it will be a normal thing. So we are creating a cultural taste for insecurity, a cultural taste for mediocrity, a cultural taste for a low-level life. Because if you consider these kind of things, what it does to because we have to start thinking beyond 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of this nation. What message are we passing? Not even to the outside community now, to ourselves. What's the ideology around living in the North? How does it feel to be a northern person? How are you so proud to talk to people and say, I'm from the North? Because one of the questions they will ask you, have you seen a bomb before? A bomb explosion. So they say, that's normal now. You see, there are even IEDs. They will even tell you the kind of bombs. Some of them know how to bear arms because they've done it before. I spoke to one of my friends when I served in a northern particular area. And then we had the conversation. He was saying that almost everybody in their street, in their community, can carry a gun. They can shoot, they can trigger. And he was telling me the kind of gun, .2 mm, was saying there's double rifle. He was telling me that's easy to operate now. Just there's a lock, you put the trigger, before you pull the trigger, you put the save button, you do this, and he was I was surprised. This guy is not even a military person, but he has an idea of what should be when you bear arms. So someday, somehow, if these guys get an invitation to join banditry, to join kidnapping, they wouldn't need so much training to shoot a gun. And that's one of the things we should focus on. We should tackle these things. It's become a menace that's, eating deep into our system, into the psyche of our people. And we should eradicate this as soon as possible.
Well, shortly before we go, just in 30 seconds, I think, yes, the government were at a point was making effort to de-radicalize members of Boko Haram, captured ones, and even ISWAP. But then it's really a good step to do. But when you de-radicalize them, do not put them back or put them in the Nigerian military, because it is more or less like recycling, Boko Haram and then putting them to, create a loophole or a lacuna within the military. So it's an idea I don't really buy. So do not create more problems by solving the problem. So that's just the idea. But then I do hope that by the end of the day we'll get good news about the kidnapped schoolgirls, 25 of them. It's really sad at this time. I wonder what situation or what position their parents will be. But I just hope that they have the fortitude to hold on until they get their girls back. Absolutely. All right, it is time for us to take weather report this morning on this show, and we'll move on. We'll start with the ancient city of Ibadan, and we'll be going straight to Oyo State, Oyo East to be precise, and the weather currently feels like 24 degrees Celsius in Oyo East this morning, and later in the morning it will be partly cloudy and rise to 28 degrees Celsius, 4 notches higher to 32 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, and it will also remain partly cloudy. And in the evening, it will be clear at 26 degrees Celsius, and overnight it will be partly cloudy and drop to 23 degrees Celsius in Oyo East today.
And because the weather is fair, we move from Oyo to Lagos. And landing in Lagos, the weather feels like 30 degrees Celsius right here today. And later in the morning, it drops to 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy also. And in the afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, it remains the same with a few showers expected. And the weather is going to be clear in the evening at 27 degrees Celsius, and it will be mostly clear, still retaining 27 degrees Celsius overnight in Lagos State, Nigeria.
Okay, moving on from Lagos State this morning, we head straight to Abeokuta South in Ogun State. Weather is currently partly cloudy at 25 degrees Celsius right there. It will rise to 29 degrees Celsius later in the morning, also remaining partly cloudy. Same for afternoon at 33 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy. It will be clear in the evening, just like Oyo this morning at 26 degrees Celsius, and mostly clear overnight at 25 degrees Celsius in Abeokuta, Ogun State.
And from Abeokuta to Owerri West today, that's Imo State, a newcomer. Now, 23 degrees Celsius is what the weather feels like. It's partly cloudy. And it rises later in the morning to 29 degrees Celsius, also partly cloudy. It rises by 3 degrees Celsius in the afternoon to 32 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy as well. And in the evening, it drops to 25 degrees Celsius significantly. And the weather is going to be mostly clear in the evening. And overnight, it drops further by 2 degrees Celsius to 23 degrees Celsius, mostly clear in Owerri West, Imo State.
So we take this from the North Central. That's Suleja in Niger State this morning, and that's the largest state you can have anywhere in Nigeria as we speak. And weather currently feels like 21 degrees Celsius right now, and sunny as it is in Suleja. And later in the morning it will remain sunny and rise to 30 degrees Celsius. And by afternoon it will rise 3 notches higher to 33 degrees Celsius, still remaining sunny, and it will be clear in the evening and overnight at 25 and 22 degrees Celsius respectively.
Not so much of difference from that region now to Kaduna, still in the north. And the weather feels sunny at 18 degrees Celsius averagely. And it rises later in the morning to 27 degrees Celsius, sunny as you can see. In the afternoon, it rises further to 32 degrees Celsius, also sunny. The weather drops in the evening to 23 degrees Celsius with a clear weather expected. And overnight, the weather is expected to be clear because it drops much further to 19 degrees Celsius in Kaduna North, Kaduna State this morning.
Okay, we take this from the Federal Capital Territory this morning. Weather currently feels like 22 degrees Celsius in Abuja today, and currently sunny as we speak. And later in the morning, it will rise to 31 degrees Celsius, remaining sunny. Same for afternoon at 33 degrees Celsius, also sunny. It will be all clear in the evening and overnight at 26 degrees Celsius and 23 degrees Celsius in Abuja today.
And that's all we'll take for the weather forecast today. Of course, you can follow us on every of our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And after this, now we'll come back for the news. Stay with us and don't go nowhere.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anoluakpo Idowu. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to accelerating universal health coverage through reforms focused on equity, resilience, and innovation. The Permanent Secretary at the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Daju Kachalom, stated this at an event in Calabar, Cross River State. Kachalom announced that the government is intensifying action on primary health care, strengthening supply chain reforms, improving accountability systems, and enhancing data for decision-making. According to Kachalom, the ministry is consolidating reforms across primary health care, supply chain management, and human resources for health, including the recently approved health workforce migration policy. The Nigeria Customs Service Area Command has said it intercepted some endangered species, including a cub and 2 Paris monkeys at Baji on the Badagry-Seme border that were about to be smuggled to the Benin Republic. In a statement by the Public Relations Officer of the command, Issa Suleiman, the animals were intercepted, and Suleiman explained that the interception demonstrates the command's unwavering commitment to protecting the nation's biodiversity and upholding Nigeria's obligations under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Suleiman stressed that for proper care, safety, and expert handling, the animals were formally handed over to the Green Fingers Wildlife Initiative. The Oyo State government, working in partnership with a wide range of private and corporate organizers, has released a complete program for Vibing December, also known as Faji December, a month-long celebration designed to round off 2025 in high spirits and usher in the new year across the state. During the press conference held at the Cultural Center in Ibadan, the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Wasiu Olatunbosun, explained that the initiative will generate extensive business opportunities for residents throughout the Yuletide period. Olatunbosun stressed that the festivities would not be restricted to Ibadan, but would instead take place simultaneously in various parts of Oyo State. He further assured the public that adequate security measures had been put in place to protect lives and property before, during, and after the celebrations. The Commissioner confirmed that the Carnival and its associated events will run from December 1, 2025 to January 2, 2026, transforming the state into a vibrant hub of cultural expression and entertainment. As the economic situation continues to evolve, parents are encouraged to remain intentional in their children's upbringing. Family experts acknowledge the role of the family in shaping the nation's future. Across Nigeria, many households are feeling the strain of increasing living costs, from food prices to transportation and school expenses. Families are struggling more than ever to make ends meet. They also stated that economic strain is not only affecting the financial stability of families, but also their relationships, explaining that time is crucial for guidance, discipline, and emotional bonding. Despite the economic hardship, child development specialists say families can take practical steps to protect their children. And in business, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has stated that Nigeria's headline inflation rate decreased to 16% in October 2025. The NBS disclosed this in its Consumer Price Index and Inflation Report released on its verified X handle. According to the report, the inflation rate fell from 18% recorded in September. It added that on a month-to-month basis, headline inflation rose by 0.93% in October. The report also showed a slight easing in food prices, with food inflation declining by 0.37% month-to-month. The figure represents the 7th consecutive month of decline in Nigeria's inflation rate this year. And finally, in sports, President Bola Tinubu has commended the Super Eagles for their effort in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers despite their heartbreaking loss to Democratic Republic of Congo in the playoff. The Super Eagles World Cup dream suffered a major blow at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, Morocco, as DR Congo advanced to the Intercontinental playoff following the dramatic penalty shootout. Tinubu stressed the need to shift focus to the upcoming African Cup of Nations, which will be held from January to February 2026 in Morocco. He also emphasized that lessons from the World Cup qualifiers should inform preparations for the continental tournament. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that's Daybreak News. I am Anoluakpo Ido. Thank you for watching.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Mass abduction returns. That's one story that is making the rounds across the nation. Shocking, not interesting. Something we say is a far cry from what Nigerians are expecting or are clamoring for. Not a good one. But of course, we have to take some other stories. Welcome to this segment of newspaper headlines and analysis, where we check into the stories that are making the rounds across the nation. Across the print, we have so many stories to reel out today, from the Punch newspaper to Vanguard newspaper to Nigerian Tribune to the Nation, and so many that we have this morning. So if you don't have a paper to yourself, don't you bother, because we've got you covered on this particular edition of the broadcast. So we have the stories on the front pages. Now, the Punch newspaper is of interest, and particularly the first caption, the biggest caption on the Punch newspaper, seems fascinating, but not so exciting, you would say. Is a far cry, like I said. Now, mass abductions return. 145 missing in 4 days. That is a shocking story right there that you can see on your screen. Kidnapped Kebbi schoolgirls, Zamfara, Niger villages search intensifies. Article, PDP reacts, federal government pledges swift rescue. And that's the story. Now, 25 schoolgirls in Kebbi and some other persons in some other places like Zamfara and Niger villages. These things seems to be happening in villages, in remote areas, in places that and not the the eyebrow areas. But again, this begs the question: for how long do we want to keep having this? But of course, that is not the only story we have on the Punch newspaper. We'll move on to another story, as you can see on your screen. The top left corner says 2024 capital project, still 2026 budget plans. Wale Edu is the picture behind the story. 2024 capital project, still 2026, is stall 2026, I beg your pardon, budget plan. So that's exactly the shortfall according to the Ministry of Economy, as Wale Edu right there. Meanwhile, another story of interest in economics or business. Inflation hit 3-year low at 16.05%. That's another story in the Punch newspaper this morning. Inflation hit 3-year low at 16.05%, and of course it was 18% last month, and this month it seems like there's progress. Now, moving on from that story, still talking politics, PDP headquarters showdown. Makinde, Wike factions hold rival neck sessions today. That's the National Executive Council session today, expected to go on with Makinde and Wike factions to hold their sessions. Of course, we'll keep tabs on that and bring you up to speed as we track that particular story and development. Obasanjo, Fayose reignite old enmity, trade insult. Obasanjo and Fayose at it again, as you can see on the Punch newspaper this morning. Now, Tinubu calls for corruption-free judiciary at Judges' Conference. That's exactly the case. But some would argue and question the fact that should you just call for corruption-free judiciary, or should you enable a corruption-less or corruption-free society or platform for the Nigerian judiciary? Because it's one thing to say, I want you to be a good boy. It's another thing to provide everything I need to be a good boy. But exactly the case. Tinubu calls for corruption-free judiciary at Judges' Conference. I hope it's more than that. Now, still talking stories on the Punch newspaper. Federal government receives Benin bronzes repatriated from United States. That's the story also. Federal government received, that's Benin, not Benin, beg your pardon. Benin bronzes repatriated from the United States. We've seen the case where, of course, so many of the artifacts, the artworks, and all of those things that were carted away by different governments at some point. I think the German government and some other government are trying to bring some of the things they took from the Benin Kingdom of the time back to Nigeria. And I think it's a good development now that, like they would say, eyes are opening and we are getting to see that we need these things. They are historical, they are heritage, they are things we should also own because we actually own them, by the way. Now, tension as Lagos street urchin stab Air Force officer, also on the Punch newspaper. And the last story I will take on the Punch newspaper, Lagos bond subscription hit 310 billion naira as in Lagos State. Now, moving on from the Punch newspaper now to Blueprint. And what do we have on the print? The blue one. The Blueprint has the story. Go rescue 25 KB college girls. Tinubu orders security agencies. Go rescue 25 KB college girls. Tinubu orders security agencies. I hope this order would yield positive results. Police, military vigilantes begin manhunt. Abbas, Atiku, others condemn abduction. That is also the lower caption of that story. Still on Blueprint newspaper this morning, celebrated columnist Dan Agbese dies at 81. That's exactly another story. And AFCON, recover lost glory. Tinubu tells Super Eagles. And that's in the world of sport. Another story is justice must never be for sale. Digital transparent judiciary a necessity. And that's the president saying to the judicial members, or should we say judicial sector of government. Now, moving on for want of time to another story. Sultan to federal government, right on the top corner. Sultan sustain increased budgetary allocations for education. That's what the Sultan is saying to the federal government, that they should sustain increased budgetary allocations for education. Moving on from the Blueprint newspaper to Vanguard to see what story is vanguarding on Vanguard newspaper. I mean, what story is topping the chart or making the bold caption this morning? How bandits kidnapped 25 KB school girls. If you want to get the details, into how that happened. Particularly, Vanguard is ready to tell the story, maybe in another way, to help you understand how it all panned out. That killed vice principal in deadly attack. Okay, well, this is some of the things we didn't get to see. Vanguard is explaining much further to say, actually, the vice principal was killed, and police are confirming KB school invasion, abduction, barbaric, condemnable, and that's coming from KB government. And Tinubu has ordered the rescue. Atiku condemns, and so many other stories still breaking from this. Government abduct ex and Subeb father. That's Nasarawa community thrown into panic as well. That is what you should get a piece of this morning, that the vice principal was also killed in that school. Not a good one. I mean, it's a very sad note. I don't want to say it's a bad day, but of course, that story is a bad one. Now, food inflation still rising, but at slower pace. That is a story on Vanguard newspaper this morning. Akpabio, Mark, Shehu, others mom as media icon, Dan Agbese dies or mourn at 81. That's also another story to check out this morning. Justice must never be for sale. We also mentioned that that's the way Vanguard would put it. Now, Pope warns against escalating violence, persecution against Christians in Nigeria. Meanwhile, I think I saw this story yesterday and I was like, okay, so Nicki Minaj to address United Nations on alleged persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Anyway, I don't know, but I think sometimes I ask the question of what precedence is this kind of movement. But yes, PDP tension as factions battle for Wadata Secretariat. Also a story right there about the PDP saga. Convention hold, should it stand, is it permissible by law, and so many other things still making the rounds across, especially with the People's Democratic Party. The internal tension seems not to die, seems not to be dying, seems to continue. But again, we'll keep tabs on all of that and bring you up to speed as it breaks much further on the newsprint. Now, moving on, Taraba Speaker, 15 PDP Assembly members defect to APC. That is the story. Taraba Speaker, 15 PDP Assembly members defect to APC. I mean, someone was asking, so if everybody gets to move to APC, then who remains in opposition party or in opposition parties as it is? So who are supposed to be the ones cautioning the actions of a particular government if we all move into a one-party state, which some have also decried that that is not the best way to go. That is not democratic enough to have a one-party system, a one-party structure, one-party state in Nigeria. But like we are saying, maybe time will tell. We'll keep tabs on this as well and see what becomes of this particular saga, especially within the PDP confinement. Tension in the Enugu community as Governor Mbas kinsmen protest alleged military invasion. You know, there's no day you wake up without seeing a story. I assure you, if you check the print, you'll find one story, two story, one too many stories on the print. We have so many things going on in the country. And so, of course, we have the stories reeling out as fast as possible. Eric Chell accuses Congo DR of using voodoo. I wish I could ask something about this question to say, well, is that a thing? Would you blame your failure to someone using voodoo? But some would also allege that this is Africa. And sometimes when it's African, then it's the African way. And sometimes the African way can be the voodoo way. But we never can tell because that's just an allegation. It's not founded upon evidence. Or should we say, we can only hope that is not true. Now, moving on from Vanguard newspaper to the Nation newspaper to see what the Nation is saying to the Nation. I mean, the Nation newspaper to the Nation Nigeria. And on the front page of the Nation newspaper, Tinubu orders manhunt for abductors rescue of 25 pupils. Is a big caption right there. So you can see something needs to be done, especially with those. We don't want to bring back our Chibok girls like we did that time. We don't want to bring back our 25 pupils in Kebbi. We want this to even happen before there seems to be any movement across and beyond. Now, factions head for showdown at PDP Secretariat. That is also something to see on the Nation newspaper, and detailing a bit of that. Different camps plan meetings for National Secretariat. Turaki, Wike, and Yawu, others remain expelled. That's what Turaki is saying. Turaki says Wike and Yawu, others remain expelled, according to the story that we have also right there on the Nation newspaper. Obasanjo, Fayoshe back at war. Anyway, Wike and the Rule of Law by J.B. Daudu, also a story. President Salito Yebamji at 60. That is also something to check out this morning. But of course, the Nation also took interest in that story. Taraba Speaker, 16 lawmakers, ex-Kogi Governor Idris Wada defects to APC. That's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. For one of time, I'll switch my focus away from the Nation to the Guardian. The Guardian story, the Guardian newspaper says declining food prices firmer. Naira pull inflation to 15% national target. Declining food prices firmer. Naira pull inflation to 15% national target. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Ndume predicts implosion in APC about mass defections. He's saying there seems to be a ticking time bomb in the APC, especially with this tranche of defections. One defection, another defection, making many defections. So Ndume is having a say to say there's an implosion in APC. Now, genocide, United States lawmaker alleges Tinubu lying, protecting own interests. It seems the U.S. is not going back on its word to say there is Christian genocide, and they're ready to do everything within their power, within their capacity to intervene in this matter. It seems the body language of the federal government has been, no, there's nothing as such. But it seems the U.S., especially now as we have it, one of the lawmakers was alleging that Tinubu is lying and is protecting his own interest. That is also something of interest to everybody, I guess. PDP crisis may consume 2 governors, others as factions fix parallel meetings. That is also something on the Guardian newspaper. It seems like the battle is the battle of the fittest. Who gets to stay? Who gets to live? Who gets to fight? Who gets to flight? Like we say, the knee-jerk reaction. But now, moving on from that, declining food prices, you could see the Guardian has been expressive enough to explain what happens, especially with that story. That declining food prices and firmer Naira pull inflation to 15% national target. You can see the prices of food items. Rice drops by 24%. That's like minus 24%. Eggs 27%. And Gary minus 44%. Beans minus 48%. But, you know, all of this headline inflation might not reflect what the case is, especially in every clime. So it could be that this is just a data for some places, but not the generality of the Nigerian states. But we hope this is a true reality and a reflection of what we should have in the country, especially about the headline inflation, about food prices and every of those things, because it applies and it pertains to everybody. It's something we should all focus on. Now, NIMC issues 124 million NINs as poor interagency relations stall data harmonization. Something to check out also this morning. NIMC issues 124 million NINs as poor interagency relations stall data harmonization. Something to check out as well this morning. Wike military land feud. Dauda insists on rule of law. That is also breaking and making the rounds right here. Of course, if you check Wike and military land feud, that's the fight, the quarrel, what we witnessed. Of course, we also brought that in the news. Dauda insists on rule of law. Now, other stories are still of interest, but let me speak to one of the issues that we keep seeing, or that we've been seeing, especially in Taraba State, of the PDP lawmakers joining APC ahead of Kefas. That is also something to talk about. It's a story of interest, right? And it's on page 30. Now, 16 Taraba PDP lawmakers joined APC ahead of Kefas, because that's exactly what happened. We saw the picture and the videos yesterday, how that even the speaker in the House of Assembly in Taraba State and some other members said, you know, we are done with the PDP. We want to also take a bow and jump into the APC. But you see, this is where the questioning is for me. Sometimes I wonder, because these same people must have at some point, you know, decried, talk less, treated with contempt this party they are now joining. If you go to check every of their statements before now, you will see some of these people have spoken ill of the party they now belong to, the party they are now defecting to. But so, what does that mean? It means that, sometimes we question integrity to say, do you really have integrity? Are you going back to eat your vomit? Are you going back on your word? You said something and then you are picking your word. But others will also say it's okay to say something and go back, especially if you have strong reasons. But the case has been that what is the ideological stance of the PDP that makes it so different from the APC? That's another angle of conversation that a lot of people would not even get the answer, because it seems like we don't run ideological party structure, party system in the country. Because if we do, if I claim to be a conservative, for example, and you are a liberalist, my conservative idea and opinion will definitely negate, if in fact it opposes your ideology. If I say I'm conservative, for example, I can be frugal at spending. If you are a liberalist, you really do not care. You just want to spend, especially for the better good. So I do the better good too, but I do it with my conservative ideology to say we don't have to spend all we have just to get this done. How best can we get this done with so little or so, not so much of money? And that's exactly the case. You could see there would be a contradiction. There will be a dichotomy between our line of thought. Our thought process is not going to align. It's going to be disaligned. We are going to be in disharmony as to how we think, how we propose. Our policy prescription are going to be different. But we don't see this in the country. That's why it's easy for me to say tomorrow I'm joining something People's Party. It's so easy for me to say tomorrow, in fact, I'm done with something People's Party. I want to join LFI People's Party. And it seems the same narrative, the same story, the same way. Why don't we have political ideologies that are strong and never bending? Even come what may, come rain, come shine, we are standing. This is what this party is known for. These are the ethics, the tradition, the customs, the rule, the constitution of this particular party, and we are not backing down because this is what we believe in. Why don't we get to that point? Because when I see defections across, and I wonder if this is the right way to go. Because if we keep defecting and defecting, in fact, the opposition game would not be played well, because there are not so many voices to raise a question for the incumbent government to say, you guys are lagging behind. You guys are lacking in this particular sector. Why don't you do more? So it seems whatever the case of the opposition game is already eroded. It's already rolling down the drain, and there's nothing to challenge the opposition party or the incumbent government. But that's another story that is not so well. But I also allude to the story of the security fears that's deepened over schoolgirls' abduction and slain general amid new assault. It seems like a very bad situation, you can see. Security fears deepen over schoolgirls' abduction, slain general amid new assault. So as we talk about security breach or breaches in Kebbi State, there's another case of Niger State, there's Zamfara State, there's Borno, so if the government, sometimes I wonder, so I don't know how best to say this, but I feel like if we keep having these kind of narratives, it has become a thing that it seems we cannot overpower. And that's the question a lot of people are asking the government of the day, to say, are you sure you can tackle insecurity? Are you sure you can tackle insurgency? And some have also questioned if the government is sure it can handle Christian genocide in Nigeria. Although the federal government has said there's nothing as such, the banditry, the insecurity, the insurgency in some part of the country does not have any religious coloration. It doesn't have any affiliations to religion or whatever you think. But that's not even the matter now. The matter is, can it be solved? Can it be nipped in the bud? Can we do this right? Is it possible that the government, because if you say you want to tackle security and then the next day I'm seeing a story about insecurity, do I not begin to question your ideology? Do I not begin to question your tenets? Do I not begin to question your ability and potency as a government? And I'm not saying this to incite any fear or incite any worry or any action. I'm just saying that beyond the words, beyond the talk, The government of the day should walk the talk, not just say things, do things, not just propose things, do things as you should do them. And that's exactly one of the things I'm trying to say as we also move on from that story and some other stories. But you see, factions are headed for showdown at the PDP Secretariat. Is something to maybe discuss too. The Secretariat of the PDP is going to have a lot of persons in needs. And so once we have that, maybe today, we'll see what will happen. The Wike faction, Makinde, and Yahoo, and then Turaki, and the suspension of some members. Is it going to stand? Perhaps time will tell. And that's where I draw the curtains on the newspaper headlines and analysis for this particular segment. Up next is the big story with Samson. You want to know what the big story is about? Stay tuned, and after this break, we'll bring you that shortly.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and
In Nigeria's political landscape, calm often signals not peace, but preparation. Today on The Big Story, we take a closer look at one of the most significant internal shifts in recent political memory, a reset that has triggered realignment, resistance, and a series of quiet but powerful counter-moves across the political space. From formal decisions to parallel gatherings, the atmosphere is charged with repositioning, recalculation, and strategic silence. Good morning and welcome to The Big Story. The events of the past days have exposed deep fractures within one of the country's most influential political blocs. What began as long-standing disagreement erupted into a defining moment when the party leadership announced the expulsion and suspension of several figures linked to the Wike's-led faction, citing actions deemed harmful to collective unity. But rather than accept the sanctions, the Wike-aligned group mounted an immediate pushback, convening a parallel NEC meeting to challenge both the legality and the intention of leadership's decision. In that session, they questioned due process, rejected the expulsions, and positioned themselves as the defenders of internal fairness. What emerged was more than a disciplinary dispute. It became a contest of legitimacy, authority, and influence. Two different narratives, two separate meetings, and two centers of power now shape the ongoing tension. While the mainstream leadership frames its action as necessary to restore discipline, the Wike faction views them as an attempt to silence dissent and consolidate control. In the aftermath, the political terrain has become fluid. Alliances are shifting, loyalties are being tested, and new calculations are taking place behind closed doors. The reset has created an environment where every move carries weight and every silence suggests strategy. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning and to help us unpack this particular one. The sands are shifting in the PDP, but definitely is not silent in the APC too, nor the ADC or the Labour Party. That's what we'll be examining on this show this morning, The Big Story on Daybreak Live. And with me in this studio is an APC chieftain and a seasoned public affairs analyst who has been taking a close look at the current moves in all political parties in the country. His name is Honorable Omolaja Olaoye. Good to have you in the studio.
Good morning to you, Samson. Good morning. Thank you for having me on the studio. And good morning to you, viewer at home. Thank you for watching on and listening to us as well.
Okay, now let me ask you this very question. From an APC membership perspective, how do you interpret the internal shake-up within the PDP as we speak? Don't forget the convention came to place in Oyo State. That was over the weekend. And we have seen opposition party, what would you describe it as a natural, would you describe it as a natural correction in the party or just internal power struggle and a deeper ideological rift between members of the party?
I don't think it's a different ideological view. And this is not a natural thing. It's a human creation when in the eyes of the law, because the law is not ambiguous. The law is well spelled. And if you don't follow the law, there is going to be a serious consequence. PDP has been disturbing our our media space all the time because this is unnecessary and is uncalled for. But at the end of the day, we cannot say we don't look at it. Cannot say it depends probably if we are going to learn from it or not. But at the end of the day, like the question you asked me, this is the causative of this is selfishness.
Okay, now what does this political reset in the opposition party in Nigeria, what does it say about opposition politics in the country as we speak.
Yeah.
How does it portray opposition politics?
It doesn't portray it in any other way. It's only PDP are not prepared to be an opposition because years back we have had when so many times when their stalwart have been saying PDP are going to be ruling for the next 60 years, and thank God, because Nigerians are well equipped, Nigerians know what they want, and they have cut short about their dreams, and that is why APC are here. And thanks for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has been preparing to be an opposition for a very long time, even when he was the only single governor in the southwest or in Nigeria. He has maintained it as AD. Yes, he has maintained it, and he has been fighting so hard, and he has been making sure that it is not about Yoruba settlement. It's not about Southwest settlement. He has reached across the bridge to woo other people so they can be able to move Nigeria forward. Thank God he did a very positive thing, and this is what we are having today. So they are not prepared to be an opposition. They have been used to autocracy. They have been used to a kind of, probably because their leader, at first when the democracy started, was a military head of state who has been in the military system for a very long time. So they are used to a marching order, and it's not tenable in democracy because it is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, whereby people are going to have dissenting voices, and they must be heard whether you want it or not.
Okay, with the current situation, would you say the recently conducted convention in Oyo State was the right move by the PDP, and has this strengthened the party, or it has further disintegrated the political party in Nigeria?
Yeah, like I came here the other time, I said it was a very daft move, and this is going to polarize the party more than expected, because by the time you waited, there is nothing wrong in wait. When you can wait for a very long time, in as much as you can be able to do things right, is going to be a beneficiary to you, whether you like it or not. But because they still conducted this primary, despite the fact that there's a lot of, legal buhaha, that you are a lot of court injunction against it, in which those people have their right to be able to challenge it in court. They have been masturbating in a kind of self-grandeur by trying as much as possible to make themselves to be happy, and quoting and giving a kind of example of what has happened in the Labour Party. They forget to know that it is not the Abure conducted Congress that made INEC to accept Abure. It was because of the prolonged legal problem that is facing them. And when you are talking about the legal problem that they have been going to court upon court before the final judgment of the Supreme Court, and the final judgment of the Supreme Court is not clear, it goes both ways. But still, there can't be vacuum. INEC recognizes Labour Party on the basis for the fact that they have not conducted another well-conducted convention. That is why it was being recognized. But by the time he fielded, that is why you see a lot of Labour Party jumping ship from that Labour Party, because they knew that by the time they go into any kind of probably they went to there is an election. If it's being challenged in court, it is well spelled in the Constitution that every political party must be able to have their convention and elected their executive periodically. It might be 2 years, it might be 3 years, it might be 4 years, it might be 5 years. No matter how long it takes, it must be done periodically. It is well spelled out in the Constitution.
Was the convention a show of desperation by some political parties?
It was a show of desperation, indeed. Indeed. If you love the people of Nigeria, if you want their good and the goodness of Nigerians, you must be able to entertain dissenting voices.
Is Bala Mohammed desperate?
Bala Mohammed doesn't speak much when you are talking about the convention, and he doesn't show his face. Even the chairman of the convention committee said to them that he's just here because the convention has to be.
But for the fact that the INEC are not present, that means it leaves it to the delegate to decide their fate. And he said it clearly. But those people who are so ambitious, who think they can be able to use some people, they are there to embrace it. And
is Choi Makinde desperate?
so desperate.
He wants to be president.
Yeah, but he has the right to become a president. But the fact still remains that nothing come easy. Nothing come easy.
Does he have what it takes?
He has what it takes, of course. He has the weight of your state with him. He can be able to use it.
Politics is expensive. Does he have the money?
The Oyo State, like Fayose always said, that when you are in power, you have what it takes because you have the means to dispose. And people are going to be worshiping you. So they are worshiping Engineer Seyi Makinde very right now, and he's enjoying the Upiria. And whether it's going to be calm, positive, or negative, we are still watching.
Your governor is now a national leader in the PDP. Are you happy?
National leader. He has been a national leader because when they are governor, they made themselves to be national leader because they were the one that is guiding the National Working Committee, because the National Working Committee are their beck and call. That is why they are series of gifts. Even really from Engineer Seyi Makinde, there was a time, probably last Christmas, a lot of things were sent to the National Working Committee to be able to dispense to all the states. And I'm telling you, when you are in Yoruba, when you are so they are going to take them themselves. So and their people. So you expected that. So for now, is one of the national stalwart, those powerful elements, and his name has been mentioned all the time. He must enjoy the media show right now. At least he's in power, and we are tilting toward 2026, and we are going to know how the situation is going to unfold.
With the current convention that was held in Ibadan over the weekend, is the APC scared?
APC have never scared, for once. But sometimes, luck can favor you. Luck has been favored.
So you are not really leaning out that the PDP might be a major stumbling block for the APC in 2027?
We want them to be solid. We want this convention to hold. We want this convention to be legal.
Just to polarize the party the more?
No, we want it to be legal.
Is the APC deliberately fingering the PDP?
How can we say, when people say this, APC is the problem of ADC, APC is the problem of Labour Party. APC is, when we are opposition, we have never fingered PDP as our problem. Because we have a lot of internal problems within ourselves. I remember when the formation of APC, Tom Ikimi is supposed to be the chairman. But at the end, because Tom Ikimi is being favored by all the governors. Later, the table turned, and it comes to the former governor of Edo State. What is his name?
Adams.
Not Adams. There is
Monday Oyegun.
Oyegun
was also a chairman.
Oyegun was at the end of the day. Oyegun was elected. When Oyegun was elected, Ikimi left the party. So now, and when Oyegun was there as well, there is a lot of crisis. APC managed it. When Oshiomoleki, from his own house, the burning, there is going to be problem, but the mechanism to solve it, it depends on you.
Does the APC have the mechanism to solve internal crisis?
We have it. That is what we are doing.
Is there an impending internal implosion within the APC?
No, I don't think so, because a lot of people have been told that this is not going to be a kind of secret. Probably if we are going to have a convention or if we are going to have any primary, it must be according to the law of the land. We are not going to be selective. We are like APC said, I don't know, but it's not going to be selective. It's going to be elective, I'm sure.
Okay, if you look at the expulsion of several prominent figures in the PDP, many from the Wike-aligned group, Fayose also suspended, and so many other people who somehow tilted towards the yes on Wike even before now. It has sparked wide reactions. What does this say about discipline, structure, and power management within the PDP?
Yeah, I think when it's gone to political property, like in the developed world, I will tell you, in a place like United States of America.
Do you think the expulsion was necessary?
Expulsion is not necessary because there is mechanism for expulsion.
But they were said to be practicing anti-party.
They were not called to fill the setup committee to be able to address them. Who among them were they called? They must be able to tell them their offenses before they can be able to, suspend them or probably, push them out of the party. This was done in a student way. Nobody knows. You cannot just, it is well written in the Constitution. You cannot just suspend or push anybody out of the party without a proper investigation and without setting up a kind of disciplinary committee who are going to call them and ask them some questions. This is a kind of a blanket show, which is not tenable in the court of law.
There's currently a form of duality in the PDP. Parallel meetings and neck meetings between the pro-Wike and, of course, the pro-Seyi Makinde and the PDP faction. They are also having different meetings at this time. There was an emergency called by the pro-Wike aligned group yesterday. What does that mean about the current state of the PDP as we speak? Is that the Bayelsa and Zamfara situation in the making for the PDP?
I think that is necessary. I think when some people want to use illegal to become legal, I think people who are not blinded, people who are not just going to be a pushover, has to do what is necessary. I think that is what is Wike is doing. And he's right to do that. He has the right to do that. Because for now, like the court has already asked INEC not to be able to attend PDP convention, and they have complied. That means status quo remain. People who are in power, like Anyanwu and Damagu, are still the chairman of PDP.
As of yesterday afternoon, when I checked, it is still Damagu, Anyanwu, and the last PDP ESCOs that are still on the INEC page. It has not been changed.
That is it. Because those are the people that INEC recognizes. When these people want to be defending themselves about probably how they have given INEC 21 days that they are going to have their convention, they enjoy Safra Lajis, political Lajis. When APC, all their elected officers were dissolved and were nullified. The election was nullified by the court. They are so happy. They enjoy it. When there is a certificate saga, and the name saga in Bayelsa State, just the name, different name being written by the deputy governor. Supreme Court nullified the election. To them, that is not a lesson. It is not about the illegality of the court of law. Mind you, the person we are talking about has sworn an affidavit to different names by the court of law. The court still nullified the election of Bayelsa State Governor. Now,
that was David Leon.
That was David Leon.
Before Dewey came in. It was
yes.
the PDP candidate at the time.
Now, it is now about the court of law stopping them from having a convention, and they refuses. And they believe because of ordinary notification for the INEC 21 days, give them the power to be able to conduct a convention. They are not going to be able to see the fact that before any election, a lot of governors, a lot of aspirants were being stopped on the court pronounced their illegality. Even a day to the election. Before INEC can be able to recognize them, they are not going to say about that. Now, they think the court is not important because of all the pronouncement of the court.
Before a convention, all court cases must be withdrawn or sorted out before you have a convention. But that did not happen in the case of the PDP. And also that, to put this straight, Rivers State did not attend this convention. The state PDP officially boycotted the convention in its totality. That is one. In Osun State, they had delegates, but unfortunately, the state governor, who is running for second term in office under the banner of the PDP, boycotted the convention. It was not on ground. In Taraba State, Governor Kefa Asagbu did not attend the convention, and so many other notable dignitaries and political juggernauts in the country who failed to show up at the convention. What does that mean for the PDP? They are still members of the party, but they did not show up in Ibadan.
You are not even talking about those who have not even decamped. The governors who are not decamped, who distance themselves from the suspension. For you to know that, in the eyes of the law, whatever the activity that was done on those convention grounds is illegal. Because you have to have extensive consultation. Who are those that suspended them? How many senators? How many federal House of Rep? Those are the part of NEC. Those are the part of convention committee. The NEC were given power. It is not convention committee. It is not body judge that is not elected. It is not body judge that it is not an official of PDP elected officials. It was just ordinary members. And when you see all those people, when you see the chairman of convention committee distancing himself from the suspension, you know all they've done is in nullity. It's in nullity. I'm telling you sincerely. But still, they are convincing themselves. They want to be making themselves to be happy. It's a kind of self-masturbation for them to think that this Congress is going to hold any test of legality in Nigeria. I doubted it.
Does this convention give APC a level of strategic advantage?
We are still going to have a problem. No doubt about that. Because we are going to have our congresses as well. And we are going to have primary as well. We have a lot of dynamite planted when you are talking about election strategy, election dynamite ahead of us. But I believe if we do it in a rightful manner, we are going to cross it.
So how does the APC plan to leverage on the unfolding situation while still maintaining a stable and united front? Internally?
We allow them, we are going to learn from them, and we are going to allow them to box themselves to the corner.
When you say you are going to learn from them, what exactly do you
what is happening in PDP is a lesson to the APC or those people who want to do the same. Mind you, this strategy was done before 2023 election, because there are some cabal who made sure that it's only their candidate that won. And at the end of the day, somebody like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before he became a president, he allowed them to have a field day. They have a field day in a place like Oyo State because he's been hijacked by outsiders. And at the end of the day, he came there, he came here, he said, they are going to get to Abuja, and the faith, whatever they are going to do, he doesn't even plead with them that they must be able to vote for him. He doesn't canvass because he knew they are in the other side. It was in Ogun State that he was so surprised about Abiodun that he has helped by God and him throughout. That is why he said Eleyi. And he asked those people that he has done a lot for their children, most especially the vice president, that he has helped them. That is when we knew the story of how Oshibajo become vice president. He pleaded with people in Ogun State. He doesn't plead with anybody in Oyo State. He knew a lot of people in Osun State are going to do his own. He doesn't plead with our Ekiti delegate. He knew he has Ondo, then before late governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, he has been a front runner of promoting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to become a president. He knew those people are within. He knew Lagos are within. He knew he doesn't know about Ogun State. That is why he went to go and address them. He left Oyo and Ekiti. He knew Osun is within. He knew Edo are within. Is within. So for you to know that there is no political party that doesn't have its own problem, but how to manage it is what we have to know.
Okay, if you look at the current situation in the APC, you are now having a lot of PDP members moving in their numbers into your political party. How would you feel if people of PDP extraction eventually hijack the structure of your political party in some states, just like it happened during a particular time where someone who came from a different political party eventually became the flag bearer of your party, APC, and Adebayo Adelaba to move to another party to contest?
I will move within. It must be noted. I move to accord within. That is the problem you are having. I don't mind anybody that comes, even a year, some few months, if I've been given a waiver to contest and be elected. But what I hate, what I despise most, is somebody hijacking the system and thinking he's smart. Because you don't pay for me, you are not the one that asked me to join a political party. How you think that it is your birthright to be able to hijack the structure without normal legal system before it can be done? That is my problem. If you are popular, if people at home are not popular, if they are not doing well, come and take the seat. But it must be done legally. That is what I love, for things to be done in the rightful way.
As political sand keeps shifting in the country, what more should Nigerians expect in the political scene in the next few weeks?
Nigeria, like a friend of mine always saying, a day is too long in politics. That is why we are very prepared, like a scout motor. Be prepared. APC, APC or your state, in Egbeda local government that I came from, we are having a lot of crises as well, but we must be prepared. In as much as we are prepared, they'll be able to get themselves, but with this convention that they never stop, I don't think they are going to, the problem is going to continue to be going. And there is no way before 2027.
Okay, well, how important is a stable opposition party to the health of Nigeria's democracy?
It's the best in the world. That is what they enjoy in a place like United Kingdom. When you see conservative and Labour, if you see when they are having these the question time in the house, in the MP, within the MP, you are going to see that it's going to be robust. You are going to see, despite the fact that they are friends, business of the day, they attack each other like a dog. And that is what we needed. And when you are talking about a place like United States of America, when a president wants to be king, when a president wants to be a dictator, you can see what the Democrats are doing. So that is what we need. This is not good for democracy. But at the end of the day, we must learn from it. Other political parties must learn from it. I wish Aburi learned from it. Whereby it is not about seat time. If you are not acceptable, go. Allow those who are well accepted to be able to conduct their affairs. Unless you are going to see their fault as well. But you sitting on I look at Showore, that has been the leader of the party, he has been the chairman of the party, he has been the treasurer, he has been the
presidential
candidate. And that kind of person think he can be able to deliver. He will be spanking Nigeria if he become a president. He's going to become an authoritarian. That's the problem we have. A president must have a listening ear. A president must be able to be challenged. If you are not being challenged, that means you are authoritarian.
Okay, very quickly, let me ask you this before we go on the show this morning. If you look at the APC and the current trajectory of the APC, you would understand the fact that there are so many governors who are moving in. There are even second-term governors. What exactly are they looking for in the APC if they are not looking for re-election into offices?
Stability.
How?
Because people prefer certainty to uncertainty.
Is the APC a certain party?
There is certainty.
And PDP is uncertain.
PDP is uncertain for now.
Even Labour.
Because some people,
ADC.
yeah. No, I am not going to talk about ADC because we have not heard about their crisis right now because they are still wooing people. That is going to happen in ADC as well because there are a lot of mighty people who are there who are not going to listen to each other. That is why you are talking about the candidature. Obi want to contest, Atiku want to contest, Amechi want to contest. All of them are trying to outwit each other. And by the time one is emerged eventually, two can collide and be able to start attacking them. But I hope they are not going to do that. But for now, certainty is in APC. For PDP, their uncertainty they are the causative of their problem.
All right, Honorable Omala Jolawi, thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a wonderful session with you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, as the dust settles, or refuses to, one thing is clear. The political reset is far from over. The choices made today
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of next level broadcasting. Audio, real-time switching and broadcast control. We don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB Van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. All right, do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng. dominion.org.ng. You can also watch us live on our YouTube and Facebook channels at Dominion Broadcast. Do well to link up with us by clicking on the notification button, and when we come on live, you definitely get to watch us right there. And Oluwakwa Idowu is back in the studio with me, and together we'll be making sense of what's trending on social media and of course on the pages of the newspaper this morning.
Yeah, so something to talk about is the tension at the PDP wing. So yesterday, Turaki spoke to the press, and he said there was going to be a meeting today at the Secretariat, the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party. He even confirmed that they've notified the police because they got wind of an information that some people that have been expelled from the party, was referring to Wike, were said to also have, the Wike faction generally, were said to have their own BOT meeting also at the place. So there's been that conversation, and as we speak right now, just a few seconds before we started this now, Anyanwu is currently at that particular place for the meeting. So there's been a lot of tension. People are expecting something to happen. Who gets to use the facility? Who is the original, national coordinator, or should we say, who chairman that is considered by INEC is going to stand? Because others have also alluded to the fact that the lack of the presence of INEC official during that particular election makes it invaluable, makes it invalid, I meant to say. So what exactly would be the case going forward is what fingers are crossed about.
You see, it's becoming more and more of a problem for the PDP. Unfortunately, the convention has further disintegrated the party and polarized it the more. And you are just going to have people on the side of Wike and people on the side of whoever is on the other hand. But most importantly, there are so many shades of wrong with what happened in Ibadan. And you see, there are so many things that we cannot begin to talk about online and of course on TV, because you really do not have facts. But these are things people were saying. I mean, at the point people were saying there are some people who came from some states and they don't even know why they were in Ibadan, and they were there for a convention. That is one. Two, it's becoming more of an idea that, eventually the PDP might have to rethink or maybe come back together and do a reconciliation before the party to really be what it used to be. And of course, another angle to it is the fact that if you check the INEC website as we speak, I don't know if earlier this morning it was changed, but as far as I am concerned, as at yesterday evening, it still recognizes Anyanwu as the secretary of the party, Eli Adamago as the chairman of the political party, and the whole BOT still stands. If there is a new BOT, maybe they will have to communicate that with, or maybe executives of the party, they will have to communicate that with to INEC, and then if INEC has to make some changes, it will be done on their website. But as far as an average Nigerian is concerned, as it stands, what is on the INEC website at a point should have been shifted one way or the other to make sure that they entertain and occupy and bring in a lot of people who are actually still angry or aggrieved about what is going on in the party into the party. Take, for example, Rivers State totally boycotted the convention. In Osun State, I mean, a neighboring state to Ibadan, where the governor should find it so easy to come down to Ibadan for the convention, it was conspicuously missing. I mean, the sitting governor of Osun State, I mean, talking about Senator Ademola Adeleke, was missing at the convention. So the question is it? But they have had more issues since the convention was turned in Ibadan.
Well, I think one of the things I would also allude to is the fact that this issue is really affecting a lot of things in the party. There's no gainsay. There's no way you want to try to beat about that particular statement. The issue is affecting them as much as they might not even want. Now, for instance, now, the meeting they were supposed to have today, like you also mentioned, so I think let me first speak to what you said about the fact that they must have spent so much. They must have done a lot of things, logistics and all that, just to, they even printed ballot boxes, ballot papers, and some other stuff. I mean, that's a lot of money. But anyway, we might even want to ask the question that who funded this particular thing?
It's a conversation.
That's a conversation for another day. It's a conversation. But for one of time, let's switch on to something else. So if all of that happened in the party, some persons have also said, maybe in the defense of some people or against them, that some persons don't want reconciliation. So if you, I think you mentioned that they should have done reconciliation or reconciliatory meetings before now. I think there was a movement about let's reconcile, but it seems some party, so I don't have my figures, my facts, so that's why I'm not naming anybody. But there were hearsays, there were innuendos that some person said there's no reconciliation. So that was why some people actually thought, oh yes, it's like these people are anti-party. They don't want these parties to survive. And some have also alluded to the fact that it's because they now they have found their way into the present administration, the present day government, and they are serving under that administration and don't want to say or speak ill of that administration, and they want the party to even continue so they can also get more chances to do something, whatever they want to do. So they don't want the party to exist again, and that's what they're trying to fight for. While the other, the wing is saying we should have this convention because of what it will bring to us. One, we would now know our leadership. We would have a leadership pattern, we have a structure, we have a lot of things to work on to say this is, I think one governor as of today, this morning, I think sacked 2 of his members to maybe staff or something that came for the party. For the national convention, the PDP party convention, 2 of them were actually by the governor sacked just this morning. But if we see a lot of things unfolding from this particular meeting at the PDP National Secretariat.
Well, I still feel like whoever gets to the office first and gains extra entrance into that place, has actually gained a little bit of ground. But don't forget that the other party will go to court, and then this will be an unending court issue.
Like we know.
It will never end. But then eventually, I think they will find a common ground. Let's see what happens.
We hope so, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. That's one thing that is important.
Fingers crossed. All right, this will be the convenient point to draw the curtains on today's edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, your inspiration meets entertainment. Well, let's meet again, same station, same time tomorrow on Daybreak Live, where we bring you things you really love to watch, and of course,